You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife. God says no. Hello. God here. Well, close to, really. He's almost me. It's actually H.G. Tudor, of course. But you know you must be doing something wrong when the big fella upstairs is essentially telling you no. Is it the case that the big bearded holy guy, H.G., notice? Think about that. Holy guy, H.G. Let that go through your noggins, valuable viewers. Could it be that he is there issuing angels and archangels, cherubim and seraphim to convey a message to the satanic Duchess of Monteshitshow, expressing his disapproval? Might it be that the great architect in the sky has decided that enough is enough and he's going to put paid to her chicanery and skullduggery? Perhaps he's thought that it's apt that his various holy minions come forth upon the world to correct her behaviours. Well, whilst we might not see a host of holy beings flying through the air, we certainly do have a representative of the big holy guy expressing his disapproval of Harry's wife and Harry. Courtesy of the News International, with the enigmatically named as always web desk, we're told Prince Harry, Harry's wife, depend on publicity entirely. Prince Harry needs to take different steps in order to be invited to King Charles's coronation. Who tells us this? Well, the word being channeled from up on high comes through Queen Elizabeth II's former chaplain, Dr. Gavin Ashenden, who says the Duke of Sussex is no longer popular amongst the royal family members. And if it's coming from QE2's former chaplain, well, defender of the faith and chaplain to the defender of the faith, it could only mean that this is coming from the big guy, surely. Of course, this demonstrates that somebody else feels that they need to chip in and observe upon the way that the Sussexes have behaved. And of course, Harry, behaving as a big ginger wazzock as of late, has been caused as a consequence of the repeated manipulations of his wife, also meshing with his low intelligence and his own narcissistic traits. It's almost a perfect storm for twat wafflery of the highest nature. She, of course, has been hanging him out to dry through his disclosures in Spare, and at the same time, people such as the holy Dr. Gavin Ashenden have been moved to observe that this means he's no longer popular. Harry once was popular, but as a consequence of his slavish devotion to the narcissist, this has eroded his own popularity with family members around him. And those of you that have the misfortune to be involved with narcissists will give testament to how this occurs. Speaking on GB News, Mr. Ashenden said, "I'm flabbergasted that anybody thinks any good can come out of this. I'm not flabbergasted in the sense that the Archbishop presents himself as having great skills in this area, but I think I'm with William." So, Mr. Ashenden, or he should be Dr. Ashenden, surely, his gast was flabbered in terms of thinking any good would come out of it, but his gast was not flabbered with regard to the Archbishop, presumably Justin Welby, having dem skills. Dr. Ashenden continues, "I don't think Harry can be trusted not to pull off some kind of stunt. It could as well, of course, be a Cupid stunt that he engages in. After all, he and Harry's wife depend entirely on publicity. And I think, before they will be capable of being invited to such a public space, they should show that they've become trustworthy. Good luck with that. And I don't think there's the time or the opportunity to do that, he included. Sage observations there from God through his representative on Earth, or at least one of them, Dr. Gavin Ashenden. Naturally, this is demonstrative of the way that the Sussex's stock has fallen, and in particular, Prince Harry. As a consequence of being strapped to his handler, he's being made to look a right royal doofus. And of course, for the former chaplain to make these observations shows that for him to feel moved to make a comment in such way demonstrates how far Harry has fallen. And his observations are entirely accurate. The fact is, neither of them can be trusted. She because of her narcissism, him because he's completely kowtowing to what she needs, and that he has drunk the Kool-Aid and has swallowed her narrative so that he engages in those behaviours, so that he acts like a bell end. Accordingly, motivated by the dim-witted belief, affected by his fog of emotional thinking, he falls into the category of believing that whatever he does is justified. No matter how nasty, unpleasant, idiotic, his walnut peanut brain thinks to itself, that was appropriate. And of course, Dr. Ashenden identifies that they depend entirely on publicity, which is true because neither of them have anything to offer. As I've told you before, he's thick, she's empty. If he'd have stuck with the role of ginger bloke going around and shaking hands and organising Invictus games and being the playboy prince, but eventually finding somebody sensible, not a narcissist, to marry, he would have continued to have enjoyed the affections of the British public and the world more widely. However, as you know, he fucked up. And now, having allowed himself to be isolated from the very institution that actually enabled him to be accepted, he finds himself without any talent.